Philosophies 2. There's this plus side to not believing in God. You don't believe in the devil either. Charlie Spittle, July 17, 2008. It is through suffering and death that human beings find meaning in their lives. Charlie Spittle, July 17, 2008. Christ said we would do greater works than him, not that we would be greater than him, but that we would do greater works than him. That is the sign of a great leader. Is not someone who convinces his or her followers to believe in him or her, but inspires and empowers his or her followers to believe in themselves. The sign of a great leader is not how many followers he/she has, but how many leaders he/she makes. Charlie Spittle, July 19, 2008. My disposition between evolutionism and creationism, God versus atheism, Bible versus science, as to what is the truth, is my answer will disappoint and upset both sides, but hopefully inspire unity and understanding between the two camps or schools of thought. It doesn't matter. We can never definitively know which way the truth is, so why waste our time bickering about it? The spiritual sage Buddha said that this disputing the origins of the world doesn't matter. It doesn't get us anywhere. What matters and what human beings should focus on is how best and efficiently to relieve human pain and suffering. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. To me, God's will is any person, place, thing, act, behavior, speech, writing, and positive effects. Humanity for all sides involved, for peace and unity. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. My concern is not popularity and or approval by people. It is whether I do God's will and follow my conscience. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. Even atheists have faith that there is no God. To be most accurate to the truth of a higher power is to be an agnostic. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. A good person is one who does God's will or obeys their heart and conscience. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. Your circumstances, environment, events that happen to you, and the people you meet may be random, but how you choose to be, act, speak, and behave, you can and should be consistent and appropriate for the time, place, and people you're with. Charlie Spittle, July 18, 2008. Although the expression of God's will may be vastly diverse, the way or the reasons, motivations, inspirations, and instructions and rules are the same: to love others and respect them, to improve and enlighten humanity into one. Charlie Spittle, July 18, 2008. Whenever you get frustrated for the state the world is in, and you think it's simple for it to change for the better, think of yourself and how hard it is for you to change, even when you know better, and then multiply that intra-conflict by about 6 billion, and is now considered 7.5 billion, in the inter and intra-conflict, and then maybe you can be more patient with the world. Charlie Spittle, July 28, 2008. Adults treat teenagers like they don't know anything, and teenagers treat adults as if they never were teenagers. Charlie Spittle, July 28, 2008. Never be too proud to learn from others, especially if they're younger than you, because that's where unexpected wisdom, insight, truth, good advice, and counsel come from. For everyone is a unique and non-repeatable gift from God, even though our experience may be the same. How we perceive, deal with, cope, survive, and grow from them may be different. Charlie Spittle, July 28, 2007. Just because someone is old, that doesn't necessarily mean they're mature, wise, intelligent, and experienced. Likewise, just because someone is young doesn't necessarily mean they are immature, unwise, naive, gullible, shallow, and or inexperienced. Charlie Spittle, July 17, 2008. Learn to go with your strongest feeling. Go with your gut, your instincts. Trust your feelings, Luke. Star Wars. Charlie Spittle, November 27, 2008. If there's nothing to lose, go for it. You may just anticipate and impress. Charlie Spittle, December 1st, 2008. When it comes to swearing in during a trial, should be speak the truth as you know it or see it. Be honest, not swear to tell the truth, because you may not know it or be misinformed. Charlie Spittle, December 4th, 2008. You have to be whole before you can be joined. No matter what your high school experience is, you will remember it forever. Charlie Spittle, July 13, 2008. Sometimes problems, questions are counterintuitive or require lateral thinking and less logical and common sense. But for the most part, almost always, trust your instincts and intuition. If something doesn't physically, kinesthetically, psychologically, mentally doesn't feel right as a solution or answer, is because most probably because it is. If you feel this gut-mind feeling, leave the problem and come back to it later until you get the right feeling. If it's homework, come back to it later. If it's a question on a test, mark the question, then do all the other questions and come back whenever the right feeling answer comes to mind. Charlie Spittle, November 16, 2008. God does not make things. He makes things make themselves. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, French Jesuit theologian. It is the nature of self-giving love to refrain from the coercive manipulation of others. Hot. Why suffering babies' genetic defects, God would have to dominate natural selection and hence the freedom of life. Peter McKnight. Whenever negotiating, always ask more than what you want to give negotiating buffer zone just in case. Charlie Spittle, November 1st, 2008. Science versus religion. How versus why. Information versus meaning. Power versus control. Knowledge versus wisdom. Ability versus belief. Awareness versus hope. Facts and morals versus values and ethics. Reason versus faith. Amends, atonement, penance, and forgiveness, clemency, pardon, mercy. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Sri Chinmoy Ghose. Anyone can become... Okay, I've read that one before. Just because we can think of it doesn't necessarily mean it exists, and just because we can't think of it does not just because we can't think of it or do not know it or are aware of it doesn't mean necessarily that it doesn't exist. Charlie Spittle, October 6, 2008. Be wary of inconsistencies when someone speaks or responds. Example, I got it from Bill. I never told you it was Bill. It was from Bill. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life. He that opens his mouth too wide brings about his own destruction. Proverbs 13:3. He who guards his mouth protects his life. To open wide one's lips brings downfall. Proverbs 13:3. Learn to trust your gut and intuition. If something or somebody or group of people feels wrong, it's usually because it, he, she, they, is, are. Trust your instincts, and it is always better to decide on the air of caution and proceed with caution and be careful. Beware of simple solutions to complex problems. They're usually wrong, and if it's too good to be true, that's usually because it is. Charlie Spittle, November 5th, 2008. When scanning, learn not to care, be apathetic to all extraneous information that has nothing to do with what you're looking for, or your objective, or what you're trying to accomplish. Charlie Spittle, November 5th, 2008. In chess, don't be careless. Try to anticipate all angles and possibilities, consequences, and counter moves of opponent. Try not to get too excited at offensive prospects that you lose your objectivity and logic and oversight, and instead overlook critical moves that other opponent can make. Be aware of the threat to your king. Focus on capturing the king. Likewise, be wary of your own king and the dispositions of opponents, pieces relative to your king, and likewise how well your king is defended. And the winner is not only the one who is the most cool-headed, logical, intellectual, and objective oversight, but the one who can see moves ahead, anticipate, and prophesy the game. Charlie Spittle, November 5th, 2008. What you say, how you say it, and what you do and how you do it represent how you deal and what attitude you want the world to see, and what you say has consequences. What you think underneath represents how truly deal and what attitude you hold about yourself and others. That's why Oscar Wilde said, "Only the shallow know themselves," because superficial people are not true or sincere, and therefore what they say and do is not congruent with who they think, how they think, because they are not true to themselves. Their consciences, they do things for popularity or material wealth, compromising the very core fundamental values shared by all people. They don't mean what they say, and they don't say what they mean. They are the type of people who not only do the wrong thing for the wrong reason, but also the right thing for the wrong reasons, such as for money, fame, and or power. They are the type of people who need to be seen doing good, and they usually don't do the right thing if nobody is watching. They are selfish and fake. Charlie Spittle, July 28, 2008. Physical and sensational pleasure is fleeting and only lasts a moment. It is not the obtainment of the goal, but the striving for it that gives us satisfaction. The joy is in the striving, desiring, not the having, for life is a journey, not a destination. Charlie Spittle, July 30th, 2008. Conscience is all you can take to your grave. The experiences, relations, communications with other people are what you'll reflect and remember before your death. This final act is the play of your life, can be heaven or hell depending on how you treated others. Were you good or bad to them? You will die in regret, fear, and guilt of contentness, peaceful and satisfied at the end of your life. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. I do believe it is wise and right for youth to have respect for their elders, but that doesn't mean that older people have the right to treat younger people with disrespect. There should be some mutual respectful reciprocity between the two, or else if you treat youth and disrespect them, then how do you expect them to respect you? Charlie Spittle, July 30th, 2008. One definition of genius is one whose mind is infinitely flexible and sees all possibilities in reality, as well as sees beyond the current perception of reality through intuition and imagination, to discover the truth which transcends our sensory and acute current perception and understanding. Such an example of this would be Einstein and his discovery of relativity. Charlie Spittle, July 19, 2008. Genius is perceived when someone sees or approaches a problem from a different, unique perspective to solve it. Charlie Spittle, April 6, 2008. Just because someone is smarter than you, or more intelligent, or even a genius, for that matter, in the end, they are only human. They are not omnipotent. They cannot see everything, and like any other human, they are prone to error, ignorance, poor judgment, irrational emotions, and passions, which cloud their mind from seeing clearly, logically, and objectively. Never forget this, for it is with this knowledge, awareness, that you can hold the quiet, humble confidence that there is potential and opportunity in defeating them. Charlie Spittle, July 17, 2008. After millions of years of evolution, you'd think man had a better way or ways to resolve their conflict other than violence, but sometimes force is necessary because the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Charlie Spittle, July 30, 2008. Although I ultimately think abortion should be legal, and I'm reluctantly politically for it, I also think it is the ultimate test of a woman's morality, character, soul, heart, and conscience, because they have the ultimate power, choice over the life or death of a child. A perfectly innocent human being with a boundless human potential for life ahead of him or her. Abortion trivializes human life to a decision. Charlie Spittle, June 27, 2008. Hate the sin, but love the sinner. Hate war, but love the North American warrior. Hate abortion, but love the aborter. Charlie Spittle, July 29, 2008. We can't always all be intelligent, but we can be wise. That is, learn from our mistakes and experiences to prevent errors, accidents, and other likely parallel examples of our experience, and a way of identifying, emphasizing, and understanding the pain and suffering of others. Charlie Spittle, June 11, 2008. Instead of assigning or looking for someone to blame or hold responsible, we should look at possible solutions and options. Attack the problem, not the person. Be objective, not personal. Charlie Spittle, June 25, 2008. Just as important as what you say and how you say it is the timing in which you say it. These factors determine whether something said is mutually humorous or harmful to the others. An error is any of these or all or a combination of any determinants determines whether something is funny or cruel, insensitive, caustic, facetious, and wounding. Charlie Spittle, June 26, 2008. I just wanted to say the JFK quote again. I think I did it incomplete. It is, for in the final analysis, we all live on this same planet, small planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's future. And we are all mortal. JFK. Back to the Philosophies. It is the untalented that are blessed, that are the blessed ones, not the talented and beautiful ones who were born with such gifts, physical prowess, hand-eye coordination, memory, looks, and or intelligence, because it is us who have to work for success. It is us whom things don't come naturally and easy, that the sweeter the taste of victory or fruits of our labor once we have worked and toiled and sacrificed for our goals, aspirations, and aims, that we don't take for granted what we have earned. Charlie Spittle, June 27, 2008. Racism. White folk put you in any category race they find appropriate for their stereotyping, tokenism, racism, ignorance, and self-congratulations of whatever knowledge they do have, that they find convenient, humorous, or tension-breaking. Charlie Spittle, June 27, 2008. I am not naive and idealistic. I know world peace will not be achieved in my lifetime, but maybe I can plant the seeds of positive change, which will lead to the tree of life and world peace for the future generations yet to come. Charlie Spittle, June 27, 2008. I consider myself representative of all minorities. I can be a symbol of a good example for minorities and help abolish racism, stereotyping, and ignorance and prejudice. Charlie Spittle, June 27, 2008. Only when a cup is empty is it useful. Hire slowly and fire fast. Sarcasm is okay, even humorous, but faulty timing is caustic and harmful, hurtful, and facetious. Charlie Spittle, June 27, 2008. Be gentle like Jesus. I'm interested in change, not fame. Charlie Spittle, July 2nd, 2008. There is a universe of difference between knowing and doing. We all know the difference between right and wrong, what it means to be good and good to each other, and how to make the world right. It is doing it. Just like me losing weight, July 2nd, 2008. Brick walls let us show our dedication. When you're screwing up and no one's doing anything or saying anything about it, it means they've given up. Critics let you know they still love you and care. Experience is what you get when you didn't get what you wanted. Randy Pouch. Wait long enough and people will surprise and impress you. Give them time. Find someone better than you to hand it over. Best gift an educator can give is to get student to be self-reflective. Best way to teach someone is to make them think they're learning something else. Head fake. People perceiving you this way as arrogant is going to limit your ability to what you're going to accomplish. Never lose childlike wonder. Help others. You're such a good salesman. Why don't you sell something worthwhile, such as education? How to get people to help you. Can't alone, karma. Tell the truth. Be earnest. Apologize when you screw up. Focus on others, not yourself. When you do the right thing, good stuff has a way of happening. When people give feedback, cherish it and use it. Show gratitude. Don't complain, just work harder. Randy Pouch. Be good at something makes you valuable. Find best in everybody, no matter how long you have to wait for them to show it, years. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. No one is all evil. Just keep waiting, it'll come out. Everyone has a good side. How to lead life dreams come true. How can you adhere your dreams or enable the dreams of others? Spirit in fight counts more than number and size of fighter. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Men think Men think in more terms of individuality and individual achievement than women, who think in more terms of relationships and social consequences. If you are patient in one moment of anger, you will escape 100 days of sorrow. Chinese proverb. It is only in pain, suffering, and death that we find meaning. July 17, 2008. Parallel argument. That's when two or more people are not talking on the same plane of an issue. Same subject, but different aspects of different issues. Two different planes of specifics. Not arguing because they disagree, but because they're talking about something else than the other. They are not on the same page, therefore they are not understanding each other and able to come to a resolution. Charlie Spittle, July 17, 2008. No expectations, no disappointments. Charlie Spittle, July 17, 2008. Meaning that we are important, that we are needed, that we have a purpose, and that our lives count for something. Meaning and purpose help us rise above the drama. They give direction and help you live with uncertainty. What do I love to do, and how can I use what I love to help people? When people act in disregard to other people, you can be sure they have no meaning or purpose. When answering academic questions or knowledge questions, use your intuition. But in everyday life, navigate your mind to think at least twice why things happen or how they do. July 18, 2008. Death never takes the wise man by surprise. He is always ready to go. John LaFontaine. Those who do not fear death have lived their lives wisely. Buddha. Praise in public, criticize in private. Charlie Spittle, July 18, 2008. It's all right to be sarcastic. It's not all right to be facetious or caustic. Charlie Spittle, July 18, 2008. One thing is true about high school. You'll never forget the experience. Charlie Spittle, July 18, 2008. Whatever the odds, no matter how far down and behind you are, never give up. It's not over till it's over. Who knows, you may just win or survive. Charlie Spittle, July 18, 2008. If you are not wealthy, you'll never feel wealthy. Sophia Loren. Some people can never be pleased, satisfied, no matter what. This is because they need to have a change in attitude. Don't do what you feel like doing. Do what you know is right. Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional. For the U.S., about gay marriage, call it civil unions for gays. They get the same rights, but not called marriage. Let the traditionalist, fundamentalist, morally rigid, prejudiced, judgmental, Puritan, mean, ignorant, fearful, hateful, narrow-minded conservatives and obtuse people keep that word so they can confine the sanctity of the word marriage as the union between a man and a woman. Call it something else that means the same thing. If it's just a matter of semantics, let the normal people have the word. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. Resolve dispute by using two different words that mean the same thing. God equals universal human conscience. Both mean the same thing. Unity. Marriage equals civil unions. Both are sacred and legal union between two individuals, gay or straight. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. People, living examples in the flesh, incarnate, are the most powerful source of inspiration, motivation, recruitment to a cause or idea than any words written by the wisest of sages or the most revered prophets of God. When you think of religious people, such as Christians, it is not the idea of Christ that helps them keep their faith, but the community of people, friends, relatives, acquaintances associated with their religion. The people they know and can interact with, because that is what is concrete, tangible. The good examples make people perceive that they represent in a positive light, that being race, religion, creed, gender, sexual orientation, and beliefs. We are therefore each and every one of us ambassadors to these factors which define us to the world. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. Think why do you strongly believe in Christ? Is it the idea of him, or is it the people you know who are believers? Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. Some say I have a feminine side. I certainly hope so. I wouldn't be human if I didn't. Charlie Spittle, July 27, 2008. Sentimentality with people is important. Sentimentality with things should be irrelevant, not important, or a priority over human life. If human beings had the disposition, they could redistribute the physical material wealth to improve the lives of others who are poor, hungry, sick, victims of natural disasters and genocide or ethnic cleansing. That material currency could purchase rehabilitation and reform to criminals or the psychotically mentally ill, cure diseases, and educate and enlighten more people with teachers and books. Now, I'm not a communist or a socialist, but there's something wrong with the balance here when 10% of the world's population have 90% of the world's wealth. If everyone took what they needed and not what they wanted, there would be more than enough for everyone. People need to learn to love people and use things, not use people and love things. Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. Live simply so others can simply live. Mother Teresa. Anyone can have an opinion, but is it informed with the facts and the truth? Charlie Spittle, July 24, 2008. In darkness we are alike. It is our knowledge that separates us. People must be aware of the ebb and flow of memory. To remember what they want, they have to let the memory wash over them like the crushing waves of the sea. If they try too hard to force it to come out, the memory recedes or ebbs. It's when they don't try and let go and relax, and at times are thinking of something entirely different, that the memory comes back to them like the flow of the ocean of memory onto the sands of the mind. Charlie Spittle, July 28, 2008. Another reason why people are mean is when they know they're doing something wrong and they try to drown out their consciences with the reaction formation of emotion of rage over rational, reasonable, fair thought and behavior. Charlie Spittle, July 28, 2008. Just as every man wonders who's tougher, every woman wonders who's prettier and whether or not they're being hit on, and that's never going to change. Charlie Spittle, July 28, 2008. If can't get something right done, don't be too quick to blame, assume or write off the instructions. Question or proper solution is wrong. Thoroughly make sure whether you are wrong first. Charlie Spittle, September 28, 2008. If it feels wrong, it usually because it is. Charlie Spittle, December 14, 2008. We were born to create, not to destroy. Charlie Spittle, December 17, 2008. This life is about questions. The next is about answers. Charlie Spittle, December 17, 2008. The point is not that you get it right the first time, but whether you learn it for the second time around. Charlie Spittle, December 21st, 2009. Leveraging is where you use a little to control a lot. Charlie Spittle, December 22nd, 2008. Life is to be discovered, not foreseen. Charlie Spittle, December 24th, 2008. When problem solving, don't fixate on one form of the thinking or problem-solving strategy. Be flexible. Charlie Spittle, December 26, 2008. God made us different because he wanted us to be interestingly diverse rather than universally and uniformly plain. To make us all the same would make a boring existence, although our value to him is all the same. Our each and individual intrinsic worth as human beings. Charlie Spittle, December 26, 2008. It always fascinates me when someone asks you what you think and you reply, I don't know. The person wasn't asking what you knew, they were asking what you think. Opinion, perspective, perception, insight, not knowledge or information. Charlie Spittle, December 26, 2008. Hindsight 2020. Life only makes sense when you look at it backwards. Too bad we have to live it forward. Therefore, what you say and do, you cannot always foresee. Be prescient to how you choose to speak and act, and we can find we contradicted or unintentionally lie. We can't see the future. Therefore, we shouldn't necessarily be held to absolute responsibility for the consequences. Charlie Spittle, December 27, 2008. Just about anything and everything does not go as we expect. Therefore, no expectations, no disappointments. Charlie Spittle, December 27, 2008. When in doubt, check it out. Charlie Spittle, December 27, 2008. Racist jokes show intolerance, ignorance, stereotyping, and prejudice of the other. But when you harm the other, you're truly harming yourself, killing the moral and ethical spirit within you, your soul, your conscience. Charlie Spittle, December 27, 2008. Environmentally conscious. 1. Energy star. 2. Green power. 3. Inquire solar cells for house. 4. Hybrid engine cars. In answering the question, it is better to provide more than less. Charlie Spittle, January 3rd, 2008. Sometimes the reason you don't fit in is you are too big and the people are too small pieces of the puzzle of pure acceptance. In other words, they are too petty, selfish, and jealous, so they reject you. Charlie Spittle, January 16, 2009. A genius is one who can keep one's mind infinitely flexible. Charlie Spittle, January 27, 2009. They say 2 heads are better than 1, but I say it depends on the heads involved. Charlie Spittle, January 27, 2009. I know as a loving parent or parents, you want to shield, shelter, and protect your child or children from hurt, pain, and rejection. But someday they have to face it, and the sooner the better. Charlie Spittle, January 27, 2009. Peace, justice, truth, and goodwill triumph, but these will not occur automatically. We must work for these, and if we do, the net effect will be the products of our efforts. The reason I say net is peace, justice, truth, and goodwill will not always prevail, but the overall net effect is that these will dominate as the fruits of our cumulative works. Charlie Spittle, January 28, 2008. Humanity's search for the truth is like a man who thirsts for water in the desert without science or literature, Newton or Shakespeare. Charlie Spittle, January 28, 2009. For those who celebrate the death penalty, get a life. One's just been lost. Charlie Spittle, January 28, 2009. War is a nightmare, not a dream. Charlie Spittle, January 30th, 2009. We were born to create, not to destroy. Sex is natural, killing is not. Charlie Spittle, January 30th, 2009. Living the right life is not about results. It's about the path you choose to take. Sometimes the decision you make to choose which path is based on previous results, but choosing to do the right thing is not about whether you'll succeed or not, but what direction your moral compass is pointing, your heart, soul, and conscience. So goes the saying, some fights aren't worth fighting even if you're going to win, and some fights are worth fighting even if you're going to lose. It's the intention and the noble goal and effort which is important. Charlie Spittle, February 6, 2009. As you get older, things become more relative, but do not lose the youthful convictions of what you know is right from wrong. Charlie Spittle, February 6, 2009. Media should be about awareness, not perceptions, in trying to globally cure the world. Charlie Spittle, February 6, 2009. Age is not the right to respect, nor the source of wisdom. Respectfulness demands respect without words, and experience, something sometimes independent of age, is the source of wisdom. Charlie Spittle, February 17, 2009. The positive thing about being on the bottom is that there's nowhere to go but up. Charlie Spittle, February 20, 2009. Reduce crime by reducing what you define as criminal, such as prostitution and drug decriminalization. Then increase manpower on real crime, kidnapping, murder, and theft. Charlie Spittle, February 27, 2009. Rise from the depths of the darkness, despair and ignorance in the light of knowledge, awareness, understanding, and hope, in trying to make the foreign familiar and mutually comprehensible. Charlie Spittle, February 27, 2009. I don't know everything, but I know everything I'm talking about, because with honesty and integrity, the truth radiates. Charlie Spittle, March 13, 2009. God is a bleeding heart liberal. Charlie Spittle, March 17, 2009. Heaven is perfect symmetry, perfect balance, highly ordered environment where beings only communicate their highest thoughts to and about each other. The promised land can be this. It can be heaven on earth. It can be a shining city on the hill. Charlie Spittle, March 17, 2009. I just want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you people to know that we tonight will make it to the promised land. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If you can keep your head when all are about you, are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired of waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give away to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son, by Rudyard Kipling. The poem is called If. And here's my augmentation of that poem. Or you'll be a woman, my daughter. Appendage, extension, augmentation, renovation, addition, edited, included, and inclusive. Equality by Charlie Spittle. He that can have patience can have what he will. Benjamin Franklin. If you have an apple and I have an apple, and we exchange these apples, then you and I will each have one apple. But if you have an idea and I have an idea, and we exchange these ideas, then each of us will have two ideas. George Bernard Shaw. The one word that makes a good manager, decisiveness. Lee Iacocca. Our entire life consists ultimately in accepting ourselves as we are. Jean Anouth. Aerodynamically, a humblebee shouldn't be able to fly, but the humblebee doesn't know that, so it goes on flying anyway. Mary Kay Ash. You will never do anything in this world without courage. It is the greatest quality of the mind next to honor. Aristotle. New ideas pass through three periods. 1, it can't be done. 2, it probably can be done, but it's not worth doing. 3, I knew it was a good idea all along. Arthur Clarke. Soren Kierkegaard, the 19th century theologian and philosopher, once noted that people celebrate achievements and call the achievers heroic. For example, we honor the gold medalist at the Olympics or the baseball player whose home run wins the series. But Kierkegaard believed that the truly heroic act does not lie in the outcome, but rather in the beginnings. Heroism lies in mustering the courage to start something with no guarantee of success at the end. For example, learning to drive, attempting to speak a new language, entering a romantic relationship, or moving to a new town. Experience is what you get when you didn't get what you wanted. Randy Pouch. Brick walls, there to show how badly you want it. Randy Pouch. Best way to teach something is to get students to believe they're learning something else. Randy Pouch. If people bring so much courage to this world, the world has to kill them to break them, so of course it kills them. The world breaks everyone, and afterward many are strong at the broken places, but those it will not break, it kills. It kills the very good and the very gentle, and the very brave impartially. If you are none of these, you'll be sure it kills you too, but there will be no special hurry. Ernest Hemingway. Okay, this next quote is, or should I say quotes, is of Robert Kennedy's speech. And I read this in honor of Robert Kennedy and to also honor the loss of a great president, John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated today 50 years ago. It is not a day for politics. I saved this one opportunity, my only event of today, to speak briefly to you about the mindless minutes of violence in America, which again stains our land and every one of our lives. It is not the concern of any one race. The victims of the violence are black and white, rich and poor, young and old, famous and unknown. They are most important of all human beings whom other human beings loved and needed. No one, no matter where he lives or what he does, can be certain who next will suffer from some senseless act of bloodshed. And yet it goes on and on and on in this country of ours. Why? What has violence ever accomplished? What has it ever created? Whenever any American's life is taken by another American unnecessarily, whether it is done in the name of the law or in the defiance of the law, by one man or a gang, in cold blood or in passion, in an attack of violence or a response to violence, whenever we tear at the fabric of our lives, which another man has painfully and clumsily woven for himself and his children, Whenever we do this, then the whole nation is degraded. Yet we seemingly tolerate a rising level of violence that ignores our common humanity and our claims to civilization. Too often we honor swagger and bluster and the wielders of force. Too often do we excuse those who are willing to build their own lives in the shattered dreams of other human beings. But this much is clear. Violence breeds violence. Repression breeds retaliation, and only a cleansing of our whole society can remove the sickness from our souls. But when you teach a man to hate and to fear his brother, when you teach that he is a lesser man because of his color or his beliefs or the policies that he pursues, when you teach that those who suffer from you threaten your freedom or your job or your enemies to be not met with cooperation but with conquest, to be subjugated and to be mastered, we learn at the last to look at our brothers as aliens, alien men with whom we share a city but not a community, men bound to us in common dwelling but not in a common effort. We learn only to share a common fear, only a common desire to retreat from each other, only a common interest to meet disagreement with force. Our lives on this planet are too short. The work to be done is too great to lift the spirit flourish any longer in this land of ours. Of course, we cannot banish it with a program nor with a resolution, but we can perhaps remember, if only for a time, that those who live with us are our brothers, that they share with us the same short moment of life, that they seek, as do we, nothing but the chance to live their lives in purpose and in happiness, winning that satisfaction and fulfillment that they can. Surely this bound of common fate, surely this bound of common goals can begin to teach us something. Surely we can do at the least to look around at those of us, of our fellow men, and surely we can work a little harder to bind up the wounds among us and to become in our hearts brothers and countrymen once again. Robert Kennedy. Thank you.